You landed on this video because you want a Greek-inspired meal. Lamb, olives, feta cheese. I'm already excited. But you're not looking for just any old recipe. You're looking for inspiration. What if I told you you could have that Greek-inspired meal? It's easy to make, but in a way you've never had it before. It's almost a Greek pizza. It's almost a Greek salad, but it's neither of them at the same time. What are you talking about? Pizza and salad, they're completely different. Well, once you try it, you'll know exactly what I mean. Let's get into it. But first, I'm Brenton. I've been cooking with my imagination for years instead of following recipes, and today I'm gonna help you do the same. Let's start with some basic Greek ingredients. Think lamb, feta cheese, rocket, olives, obviously, tomato. So here's what we're playing with today. Is pumpkin a Greek ingredient? Technically no, but have you tried it with lamb? It's amazing. All right, let's start with some pumpkin. Cut it up into little bits. We'll throw it in the air fryer along with our friend capsicum. And then we'll move on to the star of the show, the lamb. All right, let's start. Cut up a bit of pumpkin, like so. You obviously don't want that plastic on there. Now I always, and you can cut it a couple of times to make it easier for yourself. I actually always peel this like this. It wastes the least amount of pumpkin. But if you're using Kent or something with a bit thicker skin, so to speak, you can probably cut it rather than peel it, but look at that, almost wasting nothing. And then we'll cut up a little bit of capsicum and throw it in the air fryer. Close-up shots of Brenton cutting pumpkin. Probably even want it smaller than that, I reckon, for the job we've got ahead of ourselves. Might even go that size. All right, pumpkin's cut up. Now we'll do the capsicum. But why are you cutting the pumpkin so small? You'll see. Just be patient. Now let's do the capsicum. Probably we'll use about that much. All right, capsicum, just nice and thin, and then I'll cut it in half afterwards. Oh, it's getting scary. And then we'll cut it in half. Perfect. And maybe half again, just to make them little. All right, I'm gonna put them in the trusty air fryer. I've got the sleeve here. Sleeve? Maybe pumpkin first. Go pumpkin. All right, put a little bit of oil, like so. Salt and pepper, obviously. Just a little bit of pepper, a little bit of salt, and I love paprika. So we'll throw that in. And then jiggle it about. All right, air fryer, about 190 for about 12 minutes. Now to where things get interesting. The lamb. But lamb isn't interesting. Everyone uses lamb. Oh no, it's not the lamb itself. It's the way we're using the lamb. I'll show you in a minute, but first, let's cut this up into tiny pieces. I've got diced lamb here, but I'm gonna make it smaller. Brenton had a little lamb, so we wanna cut the lamb to little bits, which I'll show you why in a moment. I've tried to get the leanest cuts, even though that one has a bit of fat. A little bit of lamb. That's a big piece. Let's get him smaller. Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Now that the lamb is cut up into little bits, make some fire and put some of our good friend ghee to work on the pan. Ghee's on there, it's having a good time, swimming around. Ghee, not butter, because ghee has a higher smoke point. And we'll throw our little pieces of lamb onto the sizzler. I'm just turning it down. I just want them to cook really slowly. I'll just play around with them because I've got nothing better to do. A little bit of salt and pepper if your heart desires, and mine does. and pepper. I'm actually going to throw a little lid on it. Ta-da! Oh, pretty good. All right, so here's where things get weird. We're going to take this off and then we're going to grate some Gouda and then I'm going to show you what we do next. Ooh. Lamb off the pan. Grate the cheese. No pun used. Great. All right, here's where things get interesting and creative and a little bit weird, to be honest. So we're going to get a little bit of oil, like so, on a hot pan, and some cheese. And we're going to make a little circle, like so. And then I'm going to put some meat in there, some lamb. And then we'll put some cheese on top. And flatten down. All right, she's cooking. Make sure you use a flat pan so that it nice and easily moves around in a circle like so. And then once it starts getting hard, we're gonna flip it. Now I'm using a metal spatula, so I don't have a non-stick here. It's actually a carbon steel. But if you have a non-stick, obviously use a plastic spatula. All right, looks like it's done underneath. Let's have a little look. Oh yeah. We'll cook it like that. Once it goes hard, so you can see it's quite hard. Once it cools down a little bit, it'll harden up. The cheese pop through. Is it done on the other side? Nearly, yep, pretty much done. Why do you use grated cheese? Why not slices? Good question. The slices of cheese go above and below the lamb, whereas the grated cheese, as you can see, falls in between the lamb and becomes more like a pizza. So how is it a salad? Here's where Greek salad meets Greek pizza, but neither at the same time. So we've got the pizza base here. We're gonna put a little bit of rocket on top, which hopefully your little pizza bases are still warm and they warm up the salad. The cheese is quite a strong flavor. So the pumpkin here, which is quite sweet, contrasts. So we've taken this out of the air fryer, obviously, and we'll throw on top. Capsicum, which is sweet as well and has been in the air fryer. So a little bit of that on. A little bit of olives because they're sour and they go against or contrast the sweetness and the savoriness of the cheese, the fattiness of the cheese. And pine nuts, put them on top, nice little crunch, something a little bit different. I'm going to cut up a little bit of tomato to add, really small pieces of tomato, nice fresh tomato on top, a little bit of yellow tomato, why not? So put the fresh tomato on top, can't wait to try this. I've got a little bit of lamb left over, so I'll just pop that on, like so. And then last but not least, the feta cheese. Sour, a little bit creamy. Look at that. All right, now my favorite part, the eating it. Wow. So many flavors. The cheese underneath is quite strong with the lamb, really strong flavor. That's why the freshness of the tomato, the feta, the olives, like everything really bounces well together and gives it overall balance and contrast between the flavors, the textures, and the colors. What do we have? Greek salad? Not quite. Greek pizza? Almost, but not quite as well. But what we do have is a Greek-inspired meal, something that you weren't expecting and that you've probably never tried before, but it tastes amazing. Next time you go to make that dish you love, try and think of a different twist or a different way of making it so that it mixes it up with your favorite ingredients. And then let me know in the comments what you try. If you're liking the content, like and subscribe. Help out the little channels. If you like this video, you're gonna love this one.